to infinity and beyond.
Hey everybody, it's Roger and James here from Infinity and Beyond, your video game podcast from DisKingdom.com. In this episode, we're going to kind of, after Star Wars Celebration and the recent reveal of Star Wars Battlefront 2, we're kind of going to talk about like The Last Jedi in terms of what tie-ins, what games are we expecting to see, and what we want to see for when the movie comes out. So, obviously we know Star Wars Battlefront 2 does include a pre-order bonus where you get access to Rey and Kylo Ren's their outfits from the movie. Also, you get a version of the Millennium Falcon, which I think is a little basically a beat-up version, and a few other little bits and pieces. So we know Star Wars Battlefront 2 has got some content from The Last Jedi. It probably even has some of the new land that they're in the new trailer, where they're all racing it. I think that's pretty much going to be a given that some content is, but that's probably going to be about it, really. And it'll have new characters like, Finn, Poe, Captain Phasma and stuff, but it will kind of lead itself quite easily. But what other things do you think we're going to see in terms of Last Jedi games and tie-ins?
Well, let's get the gimme out of the way, which would probably be Lego Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Possibly combined as a dual release with Lego Rogue One or something like that. Maybe where you can get both, or even, it's a little too early for it, but it would be great if they packaged even in The Force Awakens or whatever for people who haven't played that. But I think it's one that we would love to see. They did a great job with The Force Awakens. It's been a while since we've had a Lego games other than Dimensions and the Lego Minecraft game, whatever that was called. Lego Worlds. So, I would love to see a return to Lego Star Wars with the new characters and
I
setting.
think the success of Episode 7 will mean that they'll do it. I wouldn't be so surprised if we don't see it till June next year, like they did before, where they delayed. And I think in terms of some ways, it makes the story better when they go a little bit longer, because it depends on how long they have the news in advance, because they're so secretive that they end up not knowing the full details. I'd rather that it be a few months late and then do it properly. And I can't help but wonder the fact they didn't do Rogue One. They could into it some stories and stuff, but also it wouldn't surprise me if they did like a deal, right? Okay, for the 3 episodes, you've got you've got a game for each, and you've got 2 years between each one. And I wouldn't, because then you're talking 3 Star Wars games over 6-7 years doesn't quite seem so bad then.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me too terribly much seeing that they've done a couple remasters lately. If they remastered the original Lego Star Wars, which was 1, 2, and 3, and then later they went back and did 4, 5, 6. Remaster those 6, stick Rogue One into the middle of those, right where it would fit in the timeline. Maybe throw in some bonus missions, like not full campaigns, but maybe some little bonuses with, like, say, from the Clone Wars TV show, because they had that from Lego Star Wars 3. And with Rebels, now that we've got those, heck, throw in the Freemaker saga while you're at it, and you've got yourself a nice repackage along with Episode 8.
I mean, I think even in Episode 8 one, they can include some DLC for Rogue One. They can do a few level packs, and they've got all the characters built. They probably don't need to do too much more on building those characters into it. They've kind of got a lot of the work done from Episode 7. So, but I'd be very, very surprised if we saw it this year. It could be announced around the time the movie comes out, but I'm expecting. In some ways, I hope that it's got a few months lead so they can kind of finish the story off properly. We don't want another Force Awakens playset issue.
Right. Speaking of Disney Infinity, in this case, not Lego Force Awakens, just for anyone who might have joined us since Disney Infinity passed away. But okay. So other than Lego, which I think is almost certainly going to happen, if not this year, then within the next year or so. For me, what I would love to see, now that we've got the return of the space battles, with all the frigates and the X-Wings and the TIE fighters flying around, I would love a continuation of the X-Wing series. Obviously, we've already talked about it. Battlefront 2 is going to have a new emphasis on space, but I would love either a VR-ready, not VR required, but VR-ready X-Wing space combat game, a return to those classic games that I grew up with.
I start kind of thinking of. I don't know necessarily if we would see. I don't think we're going to see any other major single titles. I can't see them doing a movie tie-in game other than Lego, because I think Lego can get away with it. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see a new tables for the pinball games. We'll see a continuation of that because that seems to be lots of content maybe added to mobile games. Galaxy of Heroes,
of course.
Star Wars Puzzle Droids. What's the other one?
Well, you've
Star
got
Wars Commander,
and then the Clash of Clans remake that they've got going right now. Force Arena. Force Arena.
I think all of those 4 titles are all going to get some kind of upgraded characters, some new events, kind of thing. That's almost kind of like the basic stuff, really. I can't, like you say, they're not going to come out with a basic standalone title game because those just don't sell anymore. They burnt the bridges, and they know now they've got to do original stories, but it doesn't mean, like you say, by the time they go across the 4 or 5 little mobile games, a table, upgrade to Star Wars Battlefront, and I'm just trying to think if they would get anything else out. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Disney brought out a different app completely, something completely different for that.
You know what? I could see them doing a Disney Magic Kingdom or Avengers Academy style game for Star Wars, because that's one of the few popular game types on mobile that they don't have for Star Wars at the moment. Have like a
Contest of Champions.
They could do a Contest of Champions. Tatooine moisture farming, kind of bring back Farmville. Actually, a Contest of Champions game wouldn't be a bad idea. The fighting market is, seeing a resurgence. We've got Injustice 2, Marvel versus Capcom Ultimate, and all that stuff coming out. Now would be the
Super Hyper Mega Drive, Super Street Fighter 2 on the Switch is coming as well next month.
Universal Edition. So now would be a good time for a new Star Wars fighting game. We haven't seen a Star Wars fighting game, since the PlayStation 2, something like that. I know they appeared in Soul Calibur 5, but it was just a couple characters.
I did actually buy. Last year, I did actually buy Soul Calibur 4 while I was in the game. I picked up the good Xbox One version. Or Xbox 360, because I googled in the store Soul Calibur backwards compatibility. Yay! Got on, popped it in the drive. No, Soul Calibur 2 was not just like. So I have got the disc and just never played it. But yeah, I can't see them coming. I think EA have already said that they've got a couple of other games in the pipeline. Respawn are working on one, and I think Missouri or something like that is working on a adventure game. I can't. It's the kind of thing of. I think they've covered all the bases. Star Wars Battlefront is going to be the epic holiday video game tie-in on the consoles. That is the primary one.
Yeah.
And I think then Lego kind of picks up the kids' version and a little bit later.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a rumor going around for a little bit that they were going to remaster Knights of the Old Republic, but I think they kind of squashed that down. Now, it doesn't mean that they might not still do it in the future, because Knights of the Old Republic, we're talking about the single-player game, not the MMO, is one of the most beloved Star Wars games from the past 20 years. So if they could get a remaster out, a decent quality one, maybe not a grounds-up rebuild, but a decent remake of it, people would buy it.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if it's on the to-do list for EA, because obviously they will want to do that. But it definitely kind of feels like we're in an era now where movie tie-in games, had you said this a year ago, I probably would have said maybe even a Lego Dimensions pack, or a story pack in there. But instead of a single game, but looking at how the numbers for the Force Awakens game were so big, that was in the top 10 for months and months and months. It's a kid game, kid-friendly, family-friendly. And with all the rumours of Lego Dimensions going, I can't see any content coming to that game at all this year. But no, I'm just trying to think what else they could kind of sort of do, really. The old days of, I just feel like Battlefront is just going to so dominate.
You know what? I think that they're going to pull a black horse here or a dark horse here, and they're going to release Yoda Adventures 2. From I can't even say that with a straight face, from the 1990s. Anybody who remembers Yoda's Adventures, though, that game was awesome.
It wouldn't surprise me as well if they release some more of the remasters on some of the play, because we saw Super Star Wars and a few of the PlayStation 2 games come on the PlayStation for Battlefront when it came. And then we haven't really seen a lot more since then. We've seen a few things like Shadow of the Empire brought out on Steam. And whether or not these all get brought over to PlayStation and Xbox and Switch and stuff, I wouldn't be at all surprised if. But then, to me, it's almost like it would have made more sense for like May the 4th, because you want to get in around it. But there's going to be so much hype around Star Wars Episode 8. But I like I said, I just feel like Battlefront is just, having seen the trailer and seeing what effort they've put into this game, it's like they ain't going to want anything going up against that.
No, they absolutely won't. And I don't think there'll be any other Star Wars games this year. Like you said, there'll be some mobile tie-ins, and we might even see some new mobile games come out, because their plan seems to be, what is the popular mobile game at the moment? Okay, make a Star Wars version of that. Yeah. And it's worked out pretty well for them as near as we can tell.
Yeah, I mean, but definitely looking at like sort of how they do it with the Marvel games. Of like, you have a puzzle game, you have a farming game, you have a adventure game, you have a turn-based game, a fight. It makes more sense, and then you can spread across. Because I mean, I saw this thing online yesterday, and like 60-70% of people play a free to win a match for, and that's that kind of thing of, those kind of games like Puzzle Droid will allow for that. Having played the recent demo for Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch, I'm going, yeah, I ain't paying $35 for this.
Get my butt handed to me by a computer.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but having played so many of them for free on your mobile, it's like the value there doesn't quite kind of tie over. But I would love to see some remasters and stuff brought out, and some re-classics and stuff. Maybe the Switch can bring some virtual console releases, because now they're all definitely seem to be in a different mode of trying to grab onto those old titles and re-release them. But as I said, new content. Lego and Battlefront definitely seem to be the front runners of what we saw with Episode 7. The only difference is this year's was this time around there's no Disney Infinity. So there's that was being billed as the major tie-in release, which literally was, the Lego Force Awakens was the proper tie-in game. The Disney Infinity was like, here's half the story, we've made the other half up because we haven't seen the end of the script yet.
It's possible, like for a lower end title, that we might see something tied into Rebels or something along those lines, because we actually don't have any digital Rebels content at the moment. I think they finally added the characters to Galaxy of Heroes. I haven't played that game in forever, but I think I saw some of those pop up on the Twitter feed. But we don't have any Rebels game. So even if they just added the characters into, say, Lego Star Wars 8 or whatever, that'd be something. But I could see them doing...
I think they had a Rebels pack in Force Awakens.
They might have, yeah. I actually was going to boot it up.
I think I vaguely remember doing a video on that one. Having only ever seen Season 1, and obviously they just announced the Star Wars Celebration that Season 4 is going to be the last, I feel like the ship's sailed on that one.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could also do not like a AAA game, but a budget game that encompasses the 4 seasons, maybe says a side story amongst them, something like that. What I'm really saying is I want to see Thrawn in a video game, and Rebels is the show that he's in, so it'd be great to see Thrawn. He was in also the original TIE Fighter game way back in the day. That's no longer canon, of course, but I would pay money for a remaster of X-Wing or TIE Fighter, or X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I already own the Steam versions of them, but if they wanted to bring out on the consoles, I'm 100% behind this. I will give you money for it.
I mean, I definitely feel like they've now that EA paid a fortune for the license to make these games for consoles, so it's very much an EA's point of view of kind of focusing. And we know there's 3 or 4 titles in development from EA. But they're not kind of going down the full Marvel route of like, right, Square Enix are making Avengers and Capcom make a fighting game and Telltale make this game. They definitely feel like they're going in different directions and stuff. But who knows? I mean, there could be a surprise or two. But like I said, I think Star Wars Battlefront and Lego's probably the big one that I'm expecting to be announced around the time the movie comes out. But yeah, I think that's going to be Star Wars Battlefront is the one that we're going to be going, that'll keep us busy for the winter.
Yeah, and I think if Lego's going to do a release this year, it'd probably be a Guardians of the Galaxy game as well. Come out near the end of the year, something for them to get in front of the Christmas crowd. But yeah, they want to learn as they already did, from the Disney Infinity mistake, which was don't create a movie tie-in when you don't have access to the movie resources.
Yeah,
so
it very much kind of. I think I just remember that Force Awakens playset just being like, this movie didn't even tie up with the second half of the story. You know, it was that typical kind of thing of, even on the article I was reading earlier about from Polygon about, you know, things of and then literally saying movie tie-in games are dead. They just don't do them. I mean, obviously we've got Cars 3 coming out on all the things, but generally, I think physical movies. I mean, animated ones are slightly different, but Star Wars Battlefront just looks so epic.
I mean, they're never going to truly get rid of movie tie-in games, especially for kids' movies.
No.
But yeah, you know, we're not going to get the Phantom Menace. You know, there was a game that tied into the Phantom Menace, and it was basically a shot-for-shot remake of that, and it was not a terrible game, but it definitely wasn't a good game either. Those days are done.
Yeah.
But like you said, Cars 3, yeah, we'll see a Coco game of some sort, probably. You know, things like that. But
no.
Yeah, the big budget action movies aren't going to get tie-ins anymore. No. At least not like we're used to.
No. Well, on that note, guys, let us know what you guys think. What Last Jedi content are you expecting to be seen in the video game industry? I'd love to know all of your thoughts over there. You can find us on all of the different social medias as well. You can find us over at Twitter and Facebook. You can find us on Patreon as well. It's a big thank you to everyone that supports us over there. James, where can they find you at?
You can find me on the web at heroiclegacy.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Vagabond Peak. Rarely, occasionally, sometimes.
Yeah, usually just send them a message like, we're going live, all right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll remember to check that now.
Here's the show notes. On that note, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys in another episode. Laters.
Yep, laters. Yoda.